What's this? What's this? How dare you? How dare you plan to succeed? How dare you wish and it comes to pass? How dare you dream and see it come true? How dare you to expect? How dare you to have expectations? This is some of the thought process I have to go through in my mind and my head when it has to do with life and its different expectations. I mean, there's even a saying that goes, if you expect nothing from somebody, you are never disappointed. And I'm thinking, what? What sort of standards should we live up to? What sort of standards could we live up to? How then does someone like me, does anybody like me who thrive through expectations, who is going to be happy through expectations? Am I not going to be a happy person in life? What the hell? How am I ever going to achieve my happiness if I can't expect something, if I can't look forward to something and then walk towards it or hope towards it or pray towards it or just fancy it or run towards it? How then? Oh my God. Well, it's all our first time here on earth, so keep in mind that yeas, lovers, and glasses of wine, these are the things that should never be counted. Hey you! I'm your host, VIVA, a girl who's stuck with fiction and fantasy. Welcome. This is YouCould Pod, where there's only possibilities of anything you could reckon. Be chill, do your thing while listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts. And don't forget to subscribe and leave your notification buttons on, because that way I owe you everything. Hey, actually, I don't think it's by having lesser expectations that we're going to be happy. I don't think the secret of happiness has anything to do with low expectations, okay? I don't think that's true. I don't think whoever said that meant to say that. I think they somehow had to come up with that because they were a little bit frustrated, right? They had to be. Hey you, and welcome to another episode of YouCould Pod with me, Viva, your host. Oh boy, yes, okay. This has been way long overdue, way long overdue on my part. Definitely. I think life was happening and I got caught up with it. I just got so entangled with it that I did not lose track, but I somehow stumbled a little bit below and below. But now I'm up again, because why not? I'm a Phoenix, baby. But anyway, this moves me to the topic of today's episode, the topic of this episode, which is expectations. Expectations. We all know what that is, right? I believe that Google would explain it to be a strong belief that something will happen or be the case. A very strong belief that something will happen or be the case. Okay, when there's belief there, it makes it sound a little bit, religious-y or fitty or something. But I guess it is, because it's more like a miracle. It's more like magic, more like something you do not expect, but somehow you're expecting it. I don't know if that makes sense. But anyway, yes. The topic of today's episode is expectations. And yes, I have taken a little bit of time to actually record another episode because I had one big disappointment, okay? I had this stuff that just happened to me recently, which I expected so much. I had just plenty of expectations and I walked towards it and I fingers crossed, heels crossed, everything into it. My time, my money, and everything I got. My might, my prayer, everything. But it didn't really work out, okay? Did it really work out? I don't know. It did not, actually. It did not. And I thought I was strong enough to just, it's just one of those, and continue. But it appears to me that I wasn't, and I couldn't, and I thought that I was going to take my happiness, my gain, or something else from another point. I was like, okay, if this didn't really work out well, maybe the next one would, maybe something else would work out for me perfectly. But then I go through the other parts, which I hoped that was going to work out, and still, it did not, okay? It did not. That means I had double time that this stuff didn't work out at all. And it got to me. It did. It got to me big time. I thought, why not? I could just get away from it. But no, it wasn't that. It's not what I expected. Life is not the way we expect it. Okay? As much as expectations is a belief that something would happen, life is still not the way we expect it to happen. But why do I actually dive into expectations and everything about expectations on this particular topic is because not just the fact that it is a little bit personal for me right now when I talk about it, it's also the fact that when I didn't get this stuff that I so much sorted for, when I didn't actually get this position and this goal that I wanted so much, I had friends and acquaintances which meant well. I believe they meant well. Maybe what they meant to say is not the way it came out, or maybe I had something else and they said something else. Because you hear what you want to hear and people say what they want to say. Yeah, maybe it was a little bit like that, but when the time during this little amount of time that I was going through this, I had some of my friends and acquaintances say things to me like, but Viv, you know that when you have so much expectations, you are setting yourself up for disappointment. You are not supposed to put all your eggs in one basket. Everything has ups and downs. You can't just expect everything to be perfect. Anyone who does something with high expectations sometimes gets disappointed. And I hear all this stuff, okay? Yes, I get all this stuff. But then I'm thinking in my mind, how? How is this even a thing? How did we get to this point where this is now an expectation? Different thing again, look at that. Where this is now the expectations for the expectations that we have for ourselves. Where this is now the standards for expectations in our lives, where this is now the standards for expectations in our goals, where this is now the standard of expectations with our relationships, where this is now the standard of expectations with the things that we are seeking for or working towards or hoping that we get. When did this become a standard that when you are expecting so much, you are somehow prepping yourself or getting yourself ready for disappointment? Are we just somehow altogether planning to fail? Because it was more like a shade or something. Although I still take everything in good spirits. One person said, "How dare you? How dare you think that you can just get something like that? I don't understand. Like, what's up? Like, how dare you? Why do you have to go for so much? What is it? Why does it have to be that? Come on, dream like us. Don't you be in the same reality? Why don't you just expect things little by little? Why don't you have low expectations on things and see how life will work out well for you? And this is not who I am. This is not what I know how to do. I think one of the most things that I love so much about myself, I feel like God gave me, nature gave me. I feel like this is because I think that every other person should have something that they love about themselves, a quality or a trait or something that they like about themselves. And one one of this for me particularly is the fact that I have this mind that's like this crazy imaginative mind. I can, oh my God.